All right, guys. This is Swiss. Welcome back to another video. Today is going to be actually the very first video in a new series about things that I do not necessarily like in Decentraland, and also about things that I hate in Decentraland, and some of the things that I would like to see improved. And I think it's really important to start pointing those things out. And we're going to start off with probably one of the most pressing issues and one of the most obvious ones today. And I'm probably going to repeat myself. I think all of you guys are perfectly aware of this, but I think it's a great place to kick it off because my only other important alternative would have been the mana price valuation. And I know historically this has been a very complex and emotional topic for many of the bag holders. Nevertheless, I'm going to touch on it, but not in the very first episode here. So the very first issue is Decentraland is really, really boring. There is really nothing to do in Decentraland, and I consider myself quite an engaged community member, but I never actually spent time inside Decentraland, which is kind of weird. I spend more time on the DCL Twitter. I spend more time in the marketplaces, or I used to, and I spend more time on building tools in Blender, maybe in the Builder tool, on the website, on the YouTube channel, rather than actually inside Decentraland. And this is just wrong, guys, man. And this is just wrong. I would, the reason why I joined Decentraland was not actually because it was a crypto-related project, but because I wanted to be in a virtual world like I used to be with games such as Ultima Online. I had very sweet memories from the community we used to have, the undertakings we had, the whole economy behind those games. It was just so much fun, and until they eventually screwed it up with the economy and the game went down. But other than that, I just was looking to replicate this experience again, and it looks like Decentraland was like exactly it. But I don't spend any time in there because I don't know what to do. So, what is there to do right now? Well, right now you can actually land on the Genesis Plaza, which is kind of the starting location for everyone joining in. And a lot of people on a daily basis land here that have heard about the project. They log in here as a guest, and the only thing they ask is like, what can I do here? How does it work? What's the point? Where do I go? And these questions are not new. We had these questions already for many, many, many months. I remember when I joined, we had that same question. How do you onboard people to Decentraland? And the truth is, it's a hard question. And I think the very first thing that the foundation team decided to do is to renovate this Genesis Plaza, the starting point in Decentraland. So they built up this very cool cloud where you land and you actually have these onboarding boards to see where are people currently at, where is the crowd at, right, and what are current events that are happening, and some of the classics here. I've never actually used these classics buttons, but I think this is quite an important board here to see where most of which locations have most people. So this was kind of the key functionality to help people distribute themselves across the world and try things out. As before, for those who are new, this plaza didn't really look like that. There was only this ground floor here, and on that ground floor, and it didn't look like that, but that ground floor was just part of that plaza. And when you would land, you would just end up standing here in the middle of this space, and there would be no indication of what to do. You would just be there. Most of the time, you would have been there by yourself or with one other person that has not been would not be reactive at all. And really, like having this landing location, this special pub with that cloud up there, has really been important to help onboarding people. But it's not good enough for now because people are still not understanding what there is to do, and there is nothing to do. It's not that they're not understanding what to do next, and there is just a UI issue. Actually, there is nothing to do, unless there is an event happening, and we do have a couple of events worth mentioning. Like the NF Tuesday with Kevin is definitely an event that I used to promote when it just started out, and it's become very popular. And I think it's super popular, like as it never was before right now, because people have nothing else to do, and if there is something going on that is cool, that is interactive, that is moderated, people join in. There is also the Meta trip by Polygonal Mind that is organized, I think, also on Tuesdays. It's a group of people going around Decentraland visiting interesting places, 3 or 4 places, and you get to ask questions. You get to see the world. It's a very nice onboarding event. But those events happen on Tuesdays for an hour or so, and then otherwise it's relatively dead. Yes, you do have that activity in the Wonder Zone. I actually never spent any time there recently, but I know that there are always a lot of people there, and this is like the go-to location to hang out. And people are kind of grinding there, mining these meteorites, which is a very basic way of spending your time. But it's the only thing we have right now, and it's going to take some time here to load. So let's give it a moment. But you will eventually see how many people there are. All of these people are looking for something to do to make some money. Right now, they can just hit the meteorites that fall from the sky, and then they collect a couple of gems, and then eventually they can trade those gems and gold pieces for some kind of wearable that they could use or sell. So it's an interesting idea that WonderZone is currently pretty much financing the only play to earn functionality here. And yes, I'm not mentioning the casino operations and the poker operations we have in Decentraland. I think those functionalities are probably the most advanced. But frankly speaking, I think for the most part, people are coming here to make some money, to find opportunities for themselves, rather than to lose money and spend money for a poker game. So unless you want to go and hang out and just listen to music and enjoy some events at those locations, you will have to invest money. And yeah, it's not exactly play to earn. And I think a lot of these guys here, they're looking for work. For some reason, they are not on the Axis platform. So, oh, this almost hit me here. So basically, that's it, guys. Like, this is as good as it gets. I should probably mention the new golf game. I haven't played it yet, but I know it's there, and I think it's a promising development. But yeah, if I haven't tested it, I'm not going to be able to speak to it. But it is a location that has frequently a few people over there. But other than this, the only other thing you can do is actually attend musical events from time to time. We have live bands from time to time, and people organizing, you know, DJ events at their locations. So those are usually pretty cool as well. If you are into community, if you are into chatting, if you are into dancing, that could be fun. But again, guys, this is 1-2 hours a week. From time to time, we have a big metaverse festival or something like that. But other than this, Decentraland is rather boring, and for the most people, they show up when there is no event. And then when I get to see what Fede Molina, which is someone in charge of marketing at Decentraland, is posting, like these kind of charts where we are showing off the number of users in Decentraland that are skyrocketing. Well, the truth is, and I think this has been revealed here in the comments, if you read those, that a lot of these are actually let's have a read of this. Last week's have been really impressive for Decentraland active user growth. The platform is expected to hit 300,000 by end of November. It's very early, but it's great to see it gain momentum. Well, essentially, from what I understand, what was explained in the comments somewhere is that it's enough to walk across one parcel of land to be counted into that statistic. That means if you are in the Genesis Plaza, You actually just have to run around in a circle once or twice, and you would be part of that statistic. You don't actually have to engage with the game. You just have to land in Decentraland, move around a little bit, and then you are an active user. Now, that is a bit of an overstatement because these guys are active users here that are coming back to make pennies by grinding it out over here and not feeling alone. But where are the 180,000, the 300,000? Where are these numbers? They're not here. We have 2, 300, 400, 500 active people actually, I would guess. And this, yeah, and then the question is how many concurrent users do you have, which is a more important metric. I think it's probably somewhere between 500, maybe 1,000. It's not a lot. Concurrent users is what makes a metaverse an experience. Otherwise, you're just walking around alone. And I spent a lot of lonely moments in Decentraland last year where we would have 50 concurrent users, 30 concurrent users, and less than that even. So what I'm trying to say is that, yes, there are people coming to Decentraland to try it out, to see what it is, but there is nothing to do. And then the question is, okay, so we all recognize that problem. And some people are trying to develop something to resolve that issue by creating a game. And yes, we do have the casinos and the poker stuff. But the world is big and nothing has been happening on the other front. And I think we need to have some kind of killer application for play to earn. And how would that work? I mean, WonderZone is proposing to, to invest into wearables that they then distribute to people, and it's a very little investment for them, right? I mean, you could mint 1,000, you can mint 10,000 of items for $500 these days, and you will have so many players on your land spending so much time here for that. It's incredible what people are willing to do for a couple of mana. So there is opportunity here to either pay people in wearables or to maybe create an additional currency. We need some kind of additional currency. And I don't want to get too deep into that topic because I want to do a specific video on the whole mana and currency conversation, but maybe we need some kind of token that we can mine inside the game. And we need to have a mechanic to mine stuff. Like, what would you have to do to get that mining token from Decentraland? And maybe, and I understand that the Decentraland Foundation tries to empower the community to create these type of applications, but normally, if you look at other projects, some of the foundational functionality needs to be created by the founding team. We need to have a killer app that is organized by the foundation in a quote-unquote centralized fashion to have a showcase on how you would do that. Yes, we have the casino and the poker stuff with their own token, with their own economy, with their own DAO, but it's almost like a separate world there. It's not independent. We need to have something native to Decentraland, and a place where you can send people and you can let them know this is where you can make a little bit of money. And we value that engagement and not necessarily the fake numbers that are great to show that yes, we have generated some initial interest through a coin valuation and the media coverage that comes through that. But if these people don't stick around for more than 5 minutes or 2 minutes or even less, then showing off these numbers is it feels a little bit desperate, and there is no need for that. I think relatively speaking we are doing all right. And by the way, guys, you will see all these Arabic ads here. It's because I'm currently in the Middle East, as I mentioned earlier on Twitter. So all of that is going to look a little bit foreign. So yeah, I think this is one of the key issues that, first of all, Decentraland is still very boring. There is nothing to do. There is nothing in sight for how people can spend time in a fun way in Decentraland, and yeah, of course, there is nothing to earn money. There's no way to farm a token here, and I think every project in crypto right now has some kind of farming operation, some kind of way of converting effort into a fake made up token that then has a market value for some reason, like half of crypto, right? And yeah, we'll keep that for a separate video. Guys, we need to find a solution here. I'm curious what you guys think. If anyone has a great idea or a great thought on that topic, please do type it up into a comment. I think it will be really interesting to see what we could do to start mining a token and create some kind of monetization of your time inside Decentraland. All right, guys. Hopefully, this inspired some people to think this through. Maybe this was very obvious, and hopefully, I didn't miss anything important here. We are going to continue with this playlist, and I'm going to speak up about things that I do not like. I'm going to cover some of the most obvious things first, and hopefully, we get into some of the more detailed, more of the nitty gritty, and maybe some more detailed specific feedback. But for now, let's just cover some of those elephants in the room. And all right, take it easy, and I talk to you soon. Bye bye.